The Office for National Statistics have released the latest crime figures for England and Wales, and it doesn't look good. The Office for National Statistics have released the latest figures on violent crime and offences up until March of this year, and it finds that knife crime and murder have both risen in England and Wales. The Guardian reported on this today, and they said, the number of high-harm violent offences involving weapons continues to rise in England and Wales, official figures show. Offences involving knives or sharp instruments rose by 16% to 40,147, according to figures on police recorded crimes for the year to March, published by the ONS. The total number of homicides, murder and manslaughter rose by 12% from the previous year to 701, excluding exceptional incidents with multiple victims such as the terrorist attacks in London and Manchester. Gun crime rose, but at a less pronounced rate than knife crime, up 2% to 6,492 offences in the period. And Caroline Yule, an analyst from the ONS, also explained, most people don't experience crime. Today's figures show a fairly stable picture in England and Wales for most crime types. It's too early to say if this is a change to the long-term declining trend. So the idea here is that there was a declining trend in England and Wales of crime, but this spike might just be an anomaly, so we might have to wait until next year's results and the results after that to be able to fully look at the data and see whether this was an anomaly or an end to a declining trend. But regardless of whether this is an anomaly or not, the news that there's been an increase in murders in the UK is particularly worrying. And here's an unpopular opinion, by the way, and potentially an unpopular opinion amongst most of my American viewers, but please hear me out. So I support the Second Amendment in the United States, and the reason why is, coming from someone who's not particularly a massive gun fan, I think there's more guns than America in people. There are. The gun culture's there, people like them. You're never going to get rid of them, put it that way. And it's fair to say that it gives vulnerable people an ability to fight back when they need to. But in the UK, where the culture is vastly different, where we're an island, it's easier to control the importation of guns and things like that, and the fact that most Brits don't even want them, I think introducing guns at this point will be a sticking plaster over a really gaping wound, because every time I see crime rates go up or murder rates go up, I see a response saying, well, the English people can't defend themselves. And let's be honest here, if I was in a position of power, say I was in a position of power right now where I could click my fingers and say, okay, guns are legal. Am I going to use that power to legalize guns? Or perhaps, maybe, I could use that power to solve the problem at its core. I think this problem itself needs to be solved rather than arming people to the teeth to try and mop it up that way. I think the location of most stabbings says a lot. The location of most stabbings, shootings, any kind of real violent attack, the location of these crimes says a lot about this problem, and it shows how we can fix it. Homicide in England and Wales has risen by 12% in the year ending March 2018, and we hear stories of relentless murders in London and attacks in London. There's been plenty of stabbings in Liverpool too, and our inner cities are becoming more unstable and more unpredictable by the day. In fact, only today, one woman was killed and a teenager stabbed in the neck within a matter of hours in London. Murders like this aren't happening in the Cotswolds. They're happening in the inner cities, and it's this location that's really important for us to consider if we want to tackle the problem at its source. But our inner city leaders don't seem to be particularly interested in tackling the issues. They're more interested in focusing on made-up issues, like Sadiq Khan and his Wikipedia gender page gap. No, I'm not even joking. He thinks there's too many men represented on Wikipedia. Imagine those being your priorities. If we want to seriously tackle this problem, we've got to look at it from three perspectives: culture, overpopulation, and poverty. This, make no mistake, this is a culturist issue. Clashing cultures in our inner cities have produced ghettos and gangs, and then poverty in our inner cities have led people to choosing the easy option of going for crime instead of finding work in an overpopulated city. And overpopulation is contributing to both the cultural clashes and poverty. So if we tackle overpopulation, i.e. stopping the importation of hundreds of thousands of people every year, many of whom go into the inner cities, or in fact most of whom, and we focus instead on a unifying British culture, then we can tackle the problem of overpopulation, poverty, culture clashes, and ultimately knife crimes and violent crime. If you want to see more from me and the rest of the Rebel team, remember to like and subscribe.